Hi, y'all. How y'all doing today? We doing good? Excited to be out here? I'm happy that it just started. We've got a really good week. I'm happy to be here with all of you. We heard a lot about Operation Win at the Door. Can I get a show of hands? How many people have been a part of Operation Win at the Door? Can we give them a round of applause? Thank you. I mean, you're the reason why people like myself and Morton Nicely and all those guys around the country and gals are actually in these positions right now. We're able to actually make a difference in what it is that we're trying to do. And you heard about my time a little bit. I actually ran in 2014. I only got 47% of the vote in my district. 6 years later in 2020, Operation Win at the Door, student activists like yourself came in. It was 67% of the vote, so a 20-point bump. Pretty incredible. We have a message as Liberty folks that needs to be heard. It doesn't need to just be heard, but it needs to be pushed. And that's really what the message of mine was. So in my campaign, we really just talked about something pretty simple, like what is the proper role of government? And if you just go to the first document in this country, the Declaration of Independence, secure and defend rights. That's it. It's pretty narrowly tailored. That's all we really want to do is make sure that we secure and defend those rights. And within those rights, we think about what things are most important. I mean, some of the things that I talk to my fellow legislators about, I think, I don't trust the government to deliver my mail, much less execute a human being. So, I mean, come on. Or do we think it's morally right to lock somebody in a cage because they choose as an adult to smoke a plant? I mean, that's probably... Or probably the most egregious of all, the one that I think about. So for me, private property rights is really big. So property taxes, in this country, the freest country on earth, we don't ever own our own land. We just pay rent to Uncle Sam. We don't ever own it. Yeah, I mean, you heard a lot about the Second Amendment stuff when we first came out here. Do we have somebody, let's see here. Right here. Could you come up here and help me out real quick while I'm doing this? So, what's your name, by the way?
I'm Terrence Chow.
Okay, Ron. Very nice to meet you.
Arizona.
It's pretty simple, but I just didn't get the chance. Could you just open that up and just take 16 sheets of paper out of there for me? Just count out like 16 sheets. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. So what about Mort's speech? I mean, Mort really was pushing back in Minnesota. Can we get another round of applause for Mort? So Mort did an even much better job than I did. I thought it was a big deal when we actually empowered ourselves to push back our governor, and I was the one that wrote the resolution to end the state of emergency in Ohio. I didn't really get the credit for it because the governor decided right before I got to testify that he was going to lift it, but nevertheless, it was because of folks like you all that we actually got that done. I see this is done. Thank you. Thank you for coming up here and helping me. So we heard a lot about the Second Amendment, right? And I didn't really want to waste all the ink, but constitutional carry has been great. We passed that in Indiana, we heard. We've passed it in the state of Ohio. But really, that's not quite going far enough. So this is 484 sheets of paper, which if I would have printed the bill that I have, it took 6 months to put it together, but it repeals every last word of Second Amendment code in the entire Ohio Revised Code so that we have one law, which is the Second Amendment in the U.S. Constitution. Thank you. I appreciate the applause, but, we really shouldn't have to applaud people for just doing the right thing, but I appreciate the moral support because, like Mort said, we really go up against some tough fights. But the 484 pages, see, that was the funny thing. When we were talking about constitutional carry and caucus, and I hear somebody say, well, this is just crazy. We don't have, you could be carrying anything. You could be carrying ninja stars. That was actually what somebody said, right? Well, first of all, yes, you can be carrying ninja stars. Second of all, if I go up against somebody, I hope you have ninja stars because I've got something a little bit better than ninja stars. So have your ninja stars, right? I just can't believe it, really. So they think, again, that the 484 pages that we have standing here, I actually went around to the different representatives' office. I asked them if they would co-sponsor the 484 pages, and first thing they said, well, I've got to read the bill. And I said, well, no, you really don't, because it's, when we look at bills that we're adding government, yeah, you probably should read it, but this is just a repeal. There's really nothing to read here. We have a Second Amendment. It's in the Constitution. This just gets us back to it. Just put your name on the bill. It's been a time in Ohio. We just heard about Yale's Operation Win at the Door continuing to win. We have three more legislators coming to Ohio with me. That's what's really exciting. We actually ousted a Rhino Republican, so we got him out of there. And it makes it the first time, the first time that we have actually ousted a sitting incumbent Republican in a primary in the last decade. First time in a decade. So I appreciate you all coming out here. It's really going to be a fantastic week. We got a lot of great speakers. I mean, I'm pretty excited. We've got people like Tulsi Gabbard, the person that, right? I mean, she said to Kamala Harris exactly what all of us were thinking, right? Like, she tore her down on national television. It's great. We obviously have Justin Amash. I mean, what a fantastic congressman he was. Kennedy, that comes out, it seems like every time that Yao asks her, Kennedy's out here, and she's fantastic, major part of the Liberty Movement. And a lot of great folks really up and down the calendar that we have, but the first one that we're going to get to right now is somebody that you all would have had the opportunity to vote for. It was the one person who was listed on all of our ballots. He ran as the vice presidential nominee for the Libertarian Party in 2020. I think I heard somebody over here say it. Who's our first guest tonight? We have Spike Cohen, and Spike obviously is not only a former vice presidential candidate, but he also has founded, and he's the co-owner of Muddied Waters Media, the co-host of the Muddied Waters of Freedom, and the host of My Fellow Americans. He's a tireless advocate for freedom. He's got a commitment to help grow the movement at all levels. He didn't take a loss and stop. No, he continues to push the liberty message, which is what I've asked all of you to do, is to continue to push that liberty message.